Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello nerds! This is episode number 60. How amazing! Thank you so much to all of you for being here. I've been loving talking to you every week and hearing from you on Instagram or via email when you send me your thoughts, your insights, your breakthroughs. Please keep doing that. This makes it all worth it for me. It makes me feel less like I'm talking to the wall, and it helps me see and get to know who I'm doing this for. And I really love you and love getting to know you. So thank you again. And if this podcast has helped you in the last 60 episodes, please share it with a friend. Send one of the episodes that resonated most with you to a loved one. And let's spread the self-growth nerds. I had wanted to start a podcast for so long when I started this one, but I kept telling myself that there was too many podcasts already. So I postponed it until the day where I decided to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And that's a good enough reason. So I want to tell you that. I want to tell you to whatever you want to do that you think, there's already too much out there. Who cares? Do it for you because it's fun. And just because you're having fun, you're going to touch people's hearts. Like, imagine if you didn't get to enjoy those 60 episodes of Self-Growth Nerds because I thought, there's already too many podcasts out there already. Yes, it's true, there's a lot of them, but there's also lots of people that are open and willing to have a favorite new one. So if you were to tell me that you make delicious pastries and that you want to open a pastry shop in Paris, but you don't want to because there's too many pastry shops, they're on all the street corners, I would tell you that that's silly. Of course you're going to have more competition. That's not a reason not to pursue your dreams. Take that obstacle and turn it into a strategy. How can you make yourself stand out? That's it. Ask better questions. Okay, so today I've got a really juicy episode for you. This week and next week are a little bit special, a little bit different, because I was looking through my computer and I stumbled upon a treasure. These pep talks that I had sent my clients last year, that I thought I'd share with you because they are really, really good. So the first one is about an exercise that I had asked my clients to do that I also asked you to do if you were at the Fearless Decision Making workshop. This exercise is pretty simple. It's called the best case scenario. So think about what you most want. What's your dream? What's the project that you have in mind that you are scared of? And describe the best case scenario. Because so often what we do is we have an idea but we only consider the worst case scenario. Oh, well, if I leave my job, then maybe I'll never find another job. If I leave my partner, maybe I'll die alone. If I start a business, it's probably, not going to succeed. It's probably going to fail. If I start a through hike, then I need to think about all of the ways not to quit. And we forget. We prepare for the worst case scenario and we forget to dream about the best case scenario. We forget to hang out there. And we overlook the fact that if you hang out there, you have a better chance of making it happen. So think about your best case scenario and listen to this pep talk. Here it is. This best case scenario is what would happen with your dream if everything goes extraordinary. This best case scenario should be one that excites you and also terrifies you a little bit. This way, we make sure that you are dancing on the edge of your comfort zone. And in that pursuing your dream, you will have no choice but to slowly expand that comfort zone and become the next version of yourself. Okay? Your bravest, boldest self. The reason I ask you to describe your best case scenario is because I want to break the way that most people approach their goals. Most people say, I have this goal, we'll see how it goes. I urge you to reframe this mindset and replace it with a more empowered one. Instead of, I have this goal and we'll see how it goes, be intentional about how it goes. So for example, the thought, we'll see if I get a job offer, becomes, let's figure out what I need to do to get a job offer where I most want to work. And we'll see if my business works, becomes, this business is going to work one way or another. I want you to take full responsibility for the best case scenario of your dream. Don't leave it up to the world to decide. You are brave and bold, and you do not live your life passively. You are the expert of your own journey, and you don't let your boat float on the river of life. You steer as much as you can. And I know that knowing what you want is scary. Because the moment you put clear words on it, you are telling your inner being, I see you and I hear you, and you become accountable to them. You cannot afterwards unsee or unhear their desires. It's as if you have a loved one who's feeling down, and you kind of know that they're feeling down, but you don't really want to text them, because if you do, then you know you'll have to deal with it and do something about it, and it's just easier to keep watching your show pretending that everything is fine. You do the same thing with your inner being by staying in confusion instead of looking straight into the light. But your lack of attention doesn't change the fact that your loved one is feeling down and that your inner being is dreaming big. Now the question is, what kind of relationship do you want with this loved one? What kind of relationship do you want with your inner being? And there is no good or bad answer. There's just a truthful answer. You could choose not to pursue this dream right now, and that can be okay. But you must at least give your inner being the gift of being seen and heard. Otherwise, it creates a distance within yourself that leads to depression. So you don't have to take action on your dreams as soon as you uncover them. But once your inner being has been seen and heard, it's not going to let you off the hook. It's not going to let you get away with excuses and lies because it knows, just like I do, that you have everything in you to achieve your dream. I'm going to say this again. I truly believe that you wouldn't have come up with a real dream if you didn't have what it takes to pursue that dream. So when you tell yourself, I'm not sure if I'm good enough for this, or I didn't have time to get this done, you're not going to be satisfied for long. You're going to feel resistance. And that resistance is your inner being telling you to stop wallowing and to tap into your extraordinary resources. You can try to convince your friends and your family that you had a good reason to give up your dream. That might make you feel better for a moment. But you cannot convince your inner being because your inner being knows the deepest truth. Your inner being would not have come up with a desire if it didn't know that you could fulfill that desire. Okay? Why, though, is it so hard to show up fully for ourselves and our ideas? Why is it that you are so smart and so talented and so hardworking and creative, and yet you have a hard time showing up fully for your dreams? You might think, I just don't have the energy, or I might look dumb, I'm not sure if it's a good idea, or it makes me too anxious, as if these were factual circumstances that you had no control over. But the real reason why you don't show up is because you're afraid of facing difficult emotions. But remember that 1, your thoughts create your feelings and you have control over your thoughts. And 2, feelings cannot kill you, no matter how uncomfortable. I'm going to give you an example. My sister got a scholarship for a master's in Copenhagen. When she called me, she was super excited. She had applied and never thought they would choose her, but they did. Then she told me, oh, but I shouldn't go, because I know that it will make me so anxious to study at a high level. I should stay here instead, it's more responsible. This would have given the power over to her anxiety. There you go, anxiety, lead the way. Whereas the power belongs in her own hands. The question I asked her, and the question I'm asking you, is this. If you could learn to manage your mind, whatever you do, what would you choose to do? If you could learn to make yourself feel okay no matter where you are, where would you go? You always have the power to learn to manage your mind better so that you feel an emotion that you, as the conscious driver of your life, approve as a fuel for your actions. If you decide not to do something, you have to take responsibility for your reasons. If my sister had decided not to go to Copenhagen, she would have had to be able to say, I choose this comfortable path over this exciting one. And you can choose the comfortable life and be just as worthy. There is no problem there. You just need to be honest with yourself about this choice and not say, oh, this is how life is, or it just didn't work out, or I just didn't have the time, or it would have made me too anxious. Make a conscious and empowered decision as to what feelings you want to let in charge. Do you want to let anxiety lead the way, for example? If you don't, then you don't think, I'm not going to go there because of the anxiety that it will create. You think, I'm going to go there because I want to, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I feel good as often as possible. And what can also help immensely is to expect the obstacles. Expect that you will feel uncomfortable and that it's just a sign that you are outside your comfort zone. Nothing has gone wrong. Instead of thinking, I feel uncomfortable and so I should change my dream, think, I feel uncomfortable, so it's another opportunity for me to manage my mind and grow. Expect discomfort. You'll be better prepared for it. Now, going back to the best case scenario, tell me about the version of you who has made this best case scenario happen. Who are they? How do they make decisions? How do they take care of themselves? How do they show up in the day-to-day? This version of you who makes the best case scenario happen is who you need to consciously step closer and closer and closer to every day. This is who you need to think from. Because becoming this version of you is what's going to allow you to make the dream happen. I had to picture myself at the Pacific Crest Trail Northern Terminus and believe that I was someone who could make it there in order to get up every day and have the strength to make it there. The identity shift did not happen once I touched the actual terminus. It happened slowly over time as I took one step after the other and overcame one difficult emotion at a time. The more I moved through the discomfort, the more my identity shifted. And once I did make it there at the end of the trail, I did not suddenly feel different about myself because I had already done the work to believe that I could get there. Believe without evidence in order to create the evidence. This is really important because we have been taught the opposite. We have been taught, here's an evidence that you can be confident. And I'm asking you to switch this belief around. Believe that you can achieve your dream without any evidence. And this will give you the energy to create the evidence. And the evidence will not be there to prove anything to you. It will only be there as a symbol of how you blew your own mind, as a symbol of the journey that you've been on and the amazing growth that you have created for yourself. So start thinking of yourself differently from now on. And the first way to start thinking of yourself differently is by asking yourself better questions and looking for better answers. Instead of, am I good enough? Or can I make this work? Or is this a good idea? Which are all questions with a yes or no answer. Find questions that A, spark your creativity and curiosity, and B, focus on the positives. Because sure, you're not perfect, but what's the use of focusing on that? Okay? We want to ask questions that lead to opening up your mind and finding solutions that you would have never thought existed. So, what are the evidence that you might be uniquely suited for this dream? Look in your past, look in your strengths, look around you. What are the evidence that you might already have everything it takes? How could you make this a success? How could you make the journey more simple or more fun? How could you use this as a growth opportunity? How could you use this to have an immense impact around you? Find better questions, and these better questions might sometimes lead to better answers, and if they don't, they will at least open up the possibilities and create a life for yourself that's not binary, that's not good or bad, but that is an adventure. An adventure of pain, of joy, of connection with the self and with others. And lastly, the second way to start thinking of yourself differently now is to visualize your best case scenario, the journey to get there, and the person you will become. Visualization is powerful because your brain cannot tell the difference between real and imagined events. If you use your imagination to rehearse events that are outside of your comfort zone in great details, you prepare your brain not to freak out and run away when you're going to get there. In other words, when you visualize your future, you go down the neural pathways that your future self will need, and you make them easier to travel. You are a trailblazer for your dreams. So, lie down in your bed at night and picture what it would be like to live your dream. See yourself stepping on that stage. What are the clothes that you wear? See yourself traveling the world. What do you drink on the plane? What does your facial expression look like? See yourself sitting in your sofa facing that big window with a view on the mountains and the lake. What book are you reading? What does your coffee taste like? Feel the feelings. Hang out there so that your brain gets used to it, so that it becomes obvious that you can get there and that it's only a matter of time. All right, we are back in the present. Marie from 2022 is here, and I 100% stand by what I just told you. This is so important. And if you want to immerse yourself for 6 months in that way of thinking, then join Brave and Bold. Like, that's all of these things make sense. You might go like, yeah, I feel super inspired. They're fun to hear once, just like this, but they're also easy to forget. Whereas if you are immersed in that way of thinking and hear about this every week and are surrounded by other people who also live their life this way, then what happens? Who do you become? And I'm asking you this question, like, imagine what would happen for you if for 6 months you swam in that way of thinking. What would you do? How would you be different? How would you feel? My guess is that you would feel so much more empowered, so much freer, so much more lighthearted, so much kinder to yourself. That's what I see in my clients every day. One of them recently sent me a message, and I'm going to quote from her message. She said, "I know I keep saying this, but I really appreciate the work you do and the community you created. In this space, I feel reflected and seen, and I'm already sad that our 6 months will be over so soon." So if you also want to hang out with us, feel reflected and seen, and surprise yourself with what you can do, then apply for Brave and Bold, okay? It's at selfgrowthnerds.com/brave and bold. It only takes 2 minutes. It's just 2 questions, and then you don't have to join us. You just, if I believe I can help you, I'm going to give you access to a private training in which I explain everything about my framework to creating an epic and fulfilling life. Then you get to make a decision. I'm not going to pressurize you into anything. You get to decide, embrace your own power, and make a decision that's the decision that's best for you. So, no obligation, nothing to lose. Go ahead and apply to Brave and Bold, and I really hope to hear from you. It would be an honor for me to be a guide on this journey in taking responsibility for the life you want to create. All right. Have a beautiful week, my friends, and don't forget to lie in your bed dreaming about your best case scenario, because I'm sure it is possible. All right. Have a beautiful week. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.